All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Danielle Lyles Barton. I am an ambassador for Tambor Cruise in October in Egypt, and I'll be leading the call for you all today. So I am looking forward to chatting with you all today, answering your questions, sharing as much information as possible as we prepare for our time. Where I want to say about 55 days out. So we are well on our way. And for those of you all who love house music, those of you all who love to travel, those of you all who have had Egypt on your bucket list, I've been reading your comments in the Facebook group, sharing about what you're most looking forward to, and those were definitely the top three things. So everybody is in the right place. This is definitely the place to be. If you are also maybe you're joining and maybe you haven't signed up yet, maybe you're curious, you're interested, you want to know more about financing options, you've got some questions before before you officially book, then you're also in the right place. And we want to make sure that we get your questions answered as well. So we'll go ahead. Mo, can you drop in the chat the Zoom information so that folks who want to share this with someone who, you know, may benefit, who they think, would want to be here, that they can do that.
Okay, okay, about to do it right now.
Okay, thank you. And then also, if you haven't already, I know most of y'all are here because you're already on the newsletter. But if for some reason someone passed this information along to you and you haven't already subscribed to our newsletter, I want to invite you to do that too. Just go to Tambor, Tambor Cruise.com, and you can subscribe to the Tambor Cruise newsletter so you can make sure that you're getting all of the updates. Okay. Now, for those of you all who have already booked, I know many of you, I'm seeing some familiar names. So many of you are already in the private Facebook group. This group is exclusive for our 2023 confirmed guests. So if that's you and you haven't yet joined the Facebook group, we did send out invitations via email. So go and check your email. This is going to be where we're going to get all of the real-time updates, right? This is like home base as we prepare to, board our flights and make our way to Egypt. Okay. So everything regarding detailed itineraries, everything around your ambassadors, which we'll talk a little bit about today, flights, packing lists, just any and all updates, all of that's going to happen in the group, as well as the recordings for all of the calls. So definitely make sure that you head over to the Facebook group and join if you haven't already. Okay. And I just dropped the link in there so that you can just kind of conveniently get in and join if you haven't already. Also, we have, our Tambor Cruise Facebook page. So that's a good place for you to be updated for any future cruises as well. So go onto Facebook, go to the page and like that. And our recordings will also be on YouTube. Okay. So under the Tambor Party account. So we have the link for 820. We dropped that in the Facebook group. I'm going to drop that there for you all as well. Let me just pause and see who else has joined. Hi, James. Hey, Demetrius. Hi, Eric. Claudia. Hey, Jere. iPhone 5. Who's that? iPhone 5, if you can drop in the chat or just announce yourself just so we know who's here. We've got Patsy, D. Rid, Angie T, Murtho, Dr. Jasper, Carmen. Hello, hello, hello. Hi there. What's your name? iPhone 5? I think you're on mute.
Hi, it's Ricky Hurdle.
Hi, Ricky. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and just change the name just so we know who's who. But welcome. I'm very glad that you're here. All right. So, on that note, just a couple of housekeeping reminders before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything. We ask that you use the hand icon if you want to speak, just so that we can just kind of monitor the flow of everything. Also, as you have questions, drop them in the chat. That's going to be probably the fastest and the easiest way for you to get all of your questions answered. I can see that Jackie's already in there answering questions. We've got Mo on the call who's answering questions. Demetrius is here. So there are folks here who are ready to answer all of your questions. So the chat is going to be the easiest way. But if you want to speak, definitely feel free. Just use the hand icon and just keep yourself on mute. Any feedback that you have, any additional topics that you would like for us to cover in future Q&As, also drop that in the chat. While I'm thinking about it, I do want to remind y'all next Sunday is a holiday weekend, so we will not have a call next Sunday. September 3rd, I believe is the date. So I just want to let y'all know that as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get moving. Jackie and Stan, do y'all have a good enough connection? Do you want to drop in and say hello?
It's kind of sketchy, so I'll just say hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are traveling right now, and so our connection is not that great, but we wanted to be present before we're off the grid for a week. So thank you, Danielle, for leading the call and everyone else assisting. You're all in very good hands. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. So again, for those of you all who have just joined, my name is Danielle. I'll be your ambassador for the cruise, and just kind of, think of me as like your steward for all things related to the cruise, the overall production activities, wellness activations, doing some facilitation, etc. Okay. So this cruise, this experience is all about magic, it's all about music, it's all about culture. Like I said, for folks who love them some Afro house music, who love to travel or want to begin traveling, and have a love of history and culture and new experiences, that's this experience is like really the culmination of all of those things. So we have 28 spots left the last time that I checked. So if you or someone who has been wanting to get in, is thinking about it, definitely make that move. Like I said, we're 55 days out. We've got just a couple of spots left. And so go to tamborcruise.com and definitely feel free to join. There are a few payment options that I want to go over for folks. Okay. So you can put a deposit of 50% down, and then your final payment has to be made September 15th at the latest. So that's in about a couple of weeks or so. So that might work for you, but that timeline might be a little bit tight, which is why I want to tell y'all about the financing option. Okay. It really makes this really, really affordable. Yeah. So Ricky, I'm going to get to your question. That's a really great question. So the financing, I want to just press pause and kind of focus on the financing for just a moment, right? Even your friend who's already going to be in Egypt, Ricky, if they want to join, they certainly can still join the cruise. So with financing, it can be for up to 2 years, right? So you're not trying to come up with the full total in a matter of like 2 to 3 weeks, right? You've got a lot of time. So what we've seen is payments be as low as $96 a month. So if you break that down into like bi-weekly payments, or like, every paycheck, let's say, that's about $45, a pay period. And so we just, again, want to stress that to you. And that can cover the cost of the trip, but also your flights, your travel insurance, like any additional hotels or excursions. You can bundle everything up into that and just be making payments on it, over the next 2 years, up to the next 2 years. And you have until September 1st. So that is like 3 or 4 days that we've got before the deadline comes up, right? So take action if you've already signed up for the trip and you're thinking about how you're going to make the rest of your payments between, now and the deadline. And you also want to take advantage of financing for the rest of the remainder of your payments. You can definitely do that as well. Again, you would need to get that application and everything in by September 1st. So this applies to everyone, which is why I wanted to just kind of pause and like really stress that. To answer your question in more detail, so your friend can absolutely join the cruise. We would love to have them. Like I said, they can go to tamborcruise.com and get signed up today. They can also apply for the financing options. And if they'll already be in Egypt, we also keep in mind we have our parties, right? So we have our party on day 1, which is going to be open to the general public. And then we have our full moon party on the last night of the cruise, which is also open to the public. So there are lots of ways that your friend can come and participate with us. Okay. It looks like Monique is also going to send you some direct links as well. So let's see. We also are currently doing a promotion where if you are already a current guest, meaning you've already signed up, if you want to refer someone, so Ricky, using you as an example, right? If you want to refer your friend and have your friend come on, you would earn basically a commission, a $200 referral commission for every person who purchases a ticket. So if you refer 2 people, you get $400. If you refer 3 people, you get $600. So that is available to everyone who has already joined. Okay. All right. So again, I know y'all are here because y'all love house music. Y'all are ready to visit the motherland. And we are going to go ahead and just get right into it. A journey to the Nile and beyond, all the things that you need to know. Okay. So there are some key information that I want to share with y'all that we need in order for your reservation to be processed. And a lot of this is critical. It is time sensitive. It's absolutely crucial that has to be completed by the timeline. So for everyone who is booked, I need y'all to go to myeasel.com. If you try to go through previous newsletters, it's going to be myeasel.com/login, which that URL no longer works. So for now, just manually type myeasel, EASOL.com. And between just do it today. Just do it while you're on the call. Do it as soon as you hang up the call because the deadline is tomorrow. And what happens is if you don't go in and complete your reservation, it makes your reservation at risk, right? So we don't want that. We definitely want to avoid any type of, complications. So any of your friends who have booked, maybe they're not on this call, make sure you tell them, send them a text message, give them a phone call and say, hey, did you confirm your reservation? If let's say you made the reservation, your guest also needs to have their information confirmed, but they cannot do it themselves. So you would have to log in as the person who made the reservation and confirm all of their details on their behalf. Or if you feel comfortable, you can just share your username and password, and they can go in and make sure that everything is updated for them. Either way, the deadline is tomorrow at 8 p.m. This is very time sensitive, very, very important. We do have a list of everyone who's missing information, so we'll be reaching out to folks who are on the list. So yeah, just like I said, if you're on your computer, if you're at home right now and you haven't already done so, just go ahead and just go to myeasel.com and update that right now. Okay.
Hey, Danielle, can we take a moment and actually go through the fields that are required?
Yes.
So folks know not everything, but could you call out the fields that are specifically required for today?
Yes, absolutely. So when you're logged in, you'll go to your account profile and you'll click the check-in link. And you'll see a number of fields, but there's some critical information that we have to provide to the ship and the hotel. And so those specific fields are, of course, going to be your name. It's going to be your email address. It's going to be your phone number, your passport number, your passport expiration date, your nationality, your country, and your garment size. So I know that might be a lot to remember, so I just dropped it in the chat for you. And when you write your name, you cannot include like your nickname or just part of your name or your preferred name or what have you. It's got to be the name exactly as it's prepared on your passport. Okay, it's got to be your full name. So just I really want to stress that. For I know many folks might have a middle name. So make sure that you add your first and your middle name in the first name field. And then for the last name field, you'll just add your last name. Okay. So some of you all who might have booked early, and you didn't know who your guest or your roommate was going to be, so you just put your name, in the primary and guest names. So now that you know, it's important that you go and get that updated right now. Otherwise, what will happen is your guest won't have a reservation. And again, we definitely don't want that. So, yes. Same thing goes for your email address. Any and all of these details, you're going to make sure that it's correct for you. You're going to make sure that it's correct for your guest. Okay. Okay, so we will also be using WhatsApp. It's an app that you can download on your phone. And we'll be using that to communicate with you all, while we're in Egypt, as folks are traveling. You'll have unique groups to communicate with your ambassadors, which will be kind of your first point of contact, as we prepare for the cruise and, definitely once we're there on the ground or on the Nile, I should say. And so again, that's where the phone numbers become important. So if you don't already have WhatsApp on your phone, and you're new to it, you're curious, you can go and download the app and just kind of make yourself familiar. But we'll be utilizing that, because since we'll be overseas, that's going to be how we're going to be able to maintain connection with everybody. Okay, so going to the garment size, if you don't add your size, we're just going to default to give you, just a large. So if you want a shirt that's your size, just go ahead and update that, update your country for you and your guest, your nationality for you and your guest, your passport expiration date for you and your guest, passport number for you and your guest. You all get where I'm going here. And then in order to save the record, every field has to populate something. So let's say, for example, for your address, there's a second line for like an apartment number or a unit number. And let's say you don't have one, you have to put something in order to save. So just make sure that you put NA in that field, make sure that every line is complete, and then you can save. Okay. Once it's saved, go in, take a look at your reservation, make sure that everything is correct. Make sure that you've selected the cabin that you want, the hotel rooms that you want. Like, this is the time to start finalizing all of those details. Because like I said, we're getting all of that in order for the cruise now. Even though we're still 55 days out, we've got to share all of that information with our vendors. Okay. If you would like to book paid excursions, so the majority of the excursions that we have on the itinerary. Those are included in your ticket price. So if you didn't want to do any paid excursions, not to worry, you're still going to have plenty. You're going to have more than enough excursions for you to enjoy. You will still definitely see Egypt, right? So these are just kind of those like cherry on the top add-ons, right? So for some of those, and we'll go into a little bit detail later, but some of those are like the air balloon, the Felucca sailboat, things like that. So if you want to just see what the paid excursions are, and then you realize, yeah, I do want to book, you'll need to go in and do that on the website. Okay. So Monique, if you haven't already, will you share the link for them to select their excursions? Let's see. So there was a question last week. If you went in and you added your additional excursions now, would it sync up with your information for your, the rest of your reservation? And I just want to affirm that the answer is yes, it will. It will still all sync up. Okay. So some of the excursions that we have. So one being the hot air balloon, which is $170 US. Okay. So this is an opportunity to, kind of get a bird's eye view of Luxor during the sunrise. So I'm sure it's going to be very, very stunning. We've had folks who have already signed up, myself being one of them as well. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Here's what you have to know is that there is a capacity to that. So total people that we can have in the air balloons, and there will be multiple, is 80 people. We've got way more than 80 people coming on this cruise. So we have to be able to provide a head count 45 days before we go. So if this is something that you're interested, you're interested, you definitely want to go and sign up for that in advance, because this is not something where like day of you'll be able to just like pay and hop on the balloon. We've got to get them all of that information up front. And the taxes and fees are included in that rate. Okay. We also, in terms of an add-on, we also have an all-inclusive drink package while we're on the boat. Okay. So this is specifically, for alcohol, alcoholic beverages, right? So your ticket includes non-alcoholic beverages. Okay. So, if you want to just have basically unlimited alcohol, and of course, still non-alcoholic beverages during your meals, during events, etc., then this is going to be the way to go. You do have to buy this upfront, okay? Because we have to make sure that they have enough inventory on the boat while we're there. So, this can't be, first day and you're like, oh man, I wish I would have added that. Let me add it now. You cannot. You can still buy drinks a la carte, but when you do the math, for the drink package, it's 220 USD per person, which breaks down to $44 a day. When you do the math, it just makes a lot more sense to do the package if that's something that you are feeling like you're going to want to participate in. And the sailboat. So a felucca is a traditional Egyptian style sailboat. And it's basically, it's like a sailboat, right? It's going to take you around to the different sites that are near our private island resort. So this is going to be in Aswan. Once we're off the boat, you'll see in the itinerary that there's a day that's kind of a lot more free. So this would be a really great day for you to be able to do the sailboat. And this does include a visit to the Nubian village. Okay. You can also go to the market. So we'll have tour guides for Friday and Saturday to take you to the market. You can get your souvenirs and just kind of, have a casual day where you're just kind of getting a lay of the land. That's something that you can decide, when you get there. You don't have to go and pay for that in advance. So all of the excursions that we have posted on the site, taxes and fees are included in those prices. So I just want to pause for just a moment and just take a quick look through the chat and see. Okay. If you want, Sheila, if you want to add the drink package now, you'll go to excursions, that excursion website. Monique, can you redrop that in the chat? And you can add your drink package from there, okay? Thank you. Okay, so moving along, let's talk about visa information. So as of September, so less than a month from now, let me put it this way. By the time we get there in October, the requirements for visas will have changed. So here's what's really, really, really crucial, really important. Everybody listen up. You have to apply for a visa before you leave your home and go to the airport.
Yeah. I might come by later. Okay. We up here?
You have to have your visa before you head to the airport in your home state, right? So, or country. And so this is for the USA, this is for UK, this is for Canada, this is for France, Australia. I know we've got folks coming from all over. So you have to apply for your visa in advance. So the good news is that it's very seamless. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It takes up to 10 days, but most folks who have already applied have gotten their visa back in less than that. Don't be that person who waits till the last minute to get their visa, and then is like, you know, crossing fingers and hoping that it comes back in time. Just go ahead and apply for your visa in advance. Your visa will give you from the time that your visa is approved, you will have 90 days for that visa in the country, right? So let's just say my visa comes back today and it's approved. Today is August 27th. So that gives me until November 27th to go and leave the country. I would have to go to Egypt and leave Egypt no later than August 27th. So I know some of y'all are looking to stay a little bit longer, are going to be doing some exploring. So factor that in as you're, you know, when you think about the timeline of when you're doing your application, but know that it has to be done. You have to have received your visa back before you get to the airport. Okay. Very, very, very important. Another very important thing is, you know, today when you hang up the call, first thing for you to do, go take a look at your passport. Make sure that from whatever day you are arriving in Egypt. So if you're arriving on the 20th or the 21st or the 22nd, whatever it is, to the date, that you have at least 6 more months before your passport expires. Okay. So if you want more information, you can go to the passport website, you know, to get more details. That's pretty standard for most international flights. But they're strict at the airports. So if you go, you look at your passport and you're like, oh my gosh, I've only got 5 months or 4 months or what have you. You're going to need to apply for an extension. You're at this point likely going to need to apply for an expedited new passport. And so just, you know, take a look at your passport today, check the expiration date, make sure that you're good to go. Also, a lot of countries, they require that you have at least 1 to 2 blank pages left on your passport, right? So if you have 6 months, but you know, you've been doing a lot of traveling and you've only got 1 page left today, fully, completely blank page left today. It doesn't matter if there's other space on the other pages. It's got to be a blank page, 1 to 2 blank pages. You're also going to go ahead and need to apply for, you know, expedited extension or new passport, because at the airport, they need to see that you have at least 1 to 2 blank pages in your passport. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, perfect. So couple of updates for the flights. I know that we've been talking a lot about flight assistance over the last couple of weeks and have been working with the airlines. So I want to make sure that I definitely talk about that today as well. So for everyone who did go in and complete the form that Jackie asked y'all to complete in terms of assistance with domestic flights in Egypt, I want to let y'all know that they have added flight schedules. Okay. So that's for 1022 and 1029. Okay. So go to for 1022, which I believe is that Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. This is going to be your flight from Cairo, Egypt to Luxor, Egypt, right? Go to nileair.com. Okay. And they're going to have some flights. I just checked this morning. They still have flights. Okay. And then for 1029, our last morning of the cruise, you can go to Egypt Air and Air Cairo. Either of those, and they've got a couple of options for y'all as well. Okay, so they have added some more flights. Okay. Many folks have already let Jackie and Stan know that you have been able to successfully book. So that's great. If you haven't already, do so now. Like I said, I checked this morning and they did still have some flights available. So let's make sure that you go and grab those, because to add even more flights, that may not be a possibility. They have to, in order to do that, they would have to have at least 100 people to book a flight. So because we're down to the wire, just go ahead and get your flights. Okay. When you have booked, please send an email to support@tamborcruise.com to let us know, so we can cross you off of the list of guests who are needing assistance. Because again, we're keeping track of, who doesn't have a flight, who still needs a flight. We're communicating and sharing all of this with the airline. So when you get your flight, please just send us a quick email and let us know. Okay. If the new flights still just don't accommodate you, please let us know. We are compiling a list. Like I said, we're really trying to work with the airlines. The rule, so to speak, or what they've shared is that there's got to be at least 100 people. So let us know so we can add you to that list and share that information with them. Okay. Okay, so James, in terms of getting support with booking, I'm going to drop this link right now, this Google form. I just dropped it in the chat. Click on that, fill that form out so that we can provide you with flight assistance for those flights. Okay, we're more than happy to help you make sure we get you everything that we need. So please go and fill out that form. You could even do it right now. Okay. I want to pause again because I want to talk about making sure that there's enough time between your flights, right? Your flight landing in Cairo and then getting to Luxor, and then, on the other side on the way back home. Okay. So when you land in Cairo, and then let's say if you land, on the 20th or 21st or what have you, this likely doesn't apply to you, right? But getting your flight to come to Luxor, right? You want to make sure that you have enough time, because when you're landing in Cairo, you're going to be in the international terminal, okay? And then what's going to happen is you're going to have to go through customs, right? Even though you still have a whole nother leg, because now you've touched down in another country, right? So you're going to have to go through customs. Which if any of you have traveled internationally, you know that those lines can be very unpredictable, right? So factor that in. Then you have to go and pick up your baggage from baggage claim, okay? And then you've got to, depending on how the airport is set up, you may have to go back through another security check, right? And recheck your bags for the next flight, right? Get to your terminal, which is, your terminal, which is now going to be a domestic in the domestic terminal. So you've got to go from the international terminal to the domestic terminal, which Jackie let me know that, you know, it could be like a 5-minute like little ride, so to speak, to get you to the terminal. So when we think about all that has to happen in between your flights, you want to leave enough time. The recommended time is like a good 2 to 3 hours from the time that you land and touch down in Cairo to the time that your flight leaves from Cairo heading to Luxor. Okay. Now, coming back on the other side. Okay, so now we're in Aswan. You're going to have, and let me back up a little bit. So then once you get to Luxor, okay, there will be an escort in Luxor, right, to get you from the airport pretty easily, and get you to the coach to take you to the hotel. Okay, so now we're in Aswan. We've had an amazing time. The trip is over, and you're heading home. You're also going to have an escort. This is included to get you where you need to go in the international terminal, to catch your, I'm sorry, in the domestic terminal to catch your flight back to Cairo, from Aswan to Cairo on the 29th. Okay, so you'll have support with that. But then once you get to Cairo, you've got to then transfer to the international terminal to catch your flight back home. So it's everything I just said, but in reverse. So because this is an international flight, and you know the recommended lead time is a good 3 hours for an international flight, the recommendation is that you leave no less than 3 hours. So coming 2 to 3 hour window, you should be okay. But going back home, you want to make sure that you have at least 3 hours, because you've got to go from domestic to international. And again, you've got to like catch that little airport train to, you know, get to different terminals. Jackie said that, you know, it takes some time. So I want to make sure that y'all understand that really, really clearly as we're thinking about flights and booking flights and all of that. Keep that in mind. There's also an option, because I haven't looked at the chat yet, but I suspect that, okay. There's an option that it's really nominal, and I suspect many of y'all will want to participate in this, which is to add on an airport escort in Cairo to help you kind of whisk you through the airport, so to speak, with ease, you know. And so the cost is $13. That includes your taxes, fees, and all of that. So it's $13 US, and it's per person. So if you want an escort to meet you in Cairo, whether that's when you are coming into Aswan, right, on October 22nd, or when you're leaving, heading back home, you know, to get to the international terminal, or both, it's $13 per person per way, right? So if you're a couple and you both want to take advantage of that, you know, when you're touching down in Cairo to help you board your flight to Aswan, you know, to get from terminal to terminal and all of that, that's going to be $26 for the couple, right? So it's $13 per person. And then if you want to do that again from Aswan, in Cairo, but to get you back home to wherever your home country is, that's going to be another $13 per person charge. Okay. So on September 15th, so in just over 2 weeks, about 2.5 weeks, you'll be able to go to the Tambor website and add this service on. Okay. So you can add it to your reservation, just like you've added your excursions or your alcohol package or what have you. So that'll be available on September 15th, where you can add in the escort service. Okay. Jackie says that the distance is not, it's a 5-minute car ride. It's not walkable at all. So when you get there, it looks like you'll be able to arrange transport for an additional fee, right? So once we think about all of that, it's almost easier to just go ahead and get the escort. Okay. Let me pause and see what's happening in the chat really quick. Okay. Yeah, with most travel insurance, it's not too late to add it. Because we still have enough time. So if you wanted to like go and add on travel insurance, there are like different travel insurance companies and such that will protect your entire investment of the trip. It shouldn't be too late. We still are like well within the window. Let me see. Is Jackie still here? She's not. All right. I'm gonna note this question here about
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, hey. So if folks booked with Tony, are there Cairo transports already taken care of?
No, and I think I responded to Angie's message later in the chat.
Perfect.
So your flights do not include an escort or transport for your arrival into Cairo. Okay. So, for example, if you're flying from Chicago and you land in Cairo and you have to take your domestic flight to Luxor. So, once you arrive in Cairo, you could essentially have an escort guide you through customs to claiming your baggage to escorting you to the next terminal where you will be taking your domestic flight to Luxor. That can be arranged for you. And as Danielle mentioned earlier, we'll have a link on the website where you can book for that on September 15th, right? It's not really something you can easily do when you get there. One, because for anyone who's traveled internationally, you know, there's lots of different various freelance people at the airport offering you services. So we want to make sure that our people are with reputable and credible service companies that we have vetted. So we would, yeah, if you're an experienced traveler and you want to do that on your own, it's not a problem. You can do that, but we would just recommend going through us just so that, one, we have an account for everyone and where you are. We're working with one service provider for all of our guests. And so that would just help, you know, manage our group and offer a little more security. So it is 13. Is that enough? I was just posting in the chat about the transport. We'll post in the FAQs what the rates are for that as well. But how it works with the transport is based on the number of people who are in your group. So say, for example, you have, I don't know, you're traveling with a group of like 8 people, right? So you'll pay a wage for your good amount, 5 person.
I think we're losing you, Jackie. Yeah. But I think you all caught the gist of what Jackie was expressing.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Do you have a question, Patsy?
Well, I'll be traveling with a group of like 13 of us. So each one of us have to get an escort?
Yes, exactly. So each one of you all will have to go to the website, the Tambor website on September 15th. Mm-hmm. And you can say, okay, for Patsy, I want, to get an escort service, and you'll add that to your reservation. And then, Susie Q or whoever, right? They'll have to go and they'll have to do the same. And each one of you will go to the Tambor website on September 15th and add that to your reservation.
Okay, thank you. I'm still not a little clear on that because we're coming into Cairo, and then we're going to stay in Cairo for 2 days and then head to Luxor. That's what we're doing. So do we still need a person, because we're going to stay in Cairo for a few days and then so no. I don't think we would need it then.
Exactly. Okay. You would not. So this is, just to make this clear, this is totally optional, right? This is not required. It's not mandatory. But if you're coming into Cairo 2 days early, when you get off of that flight, from, wherever you're traveling from, from New York, you're going to be in the international terminal. You're going to go through customs. You're going to get your bags, and then you're going to head to the hotel or wherever you guys are staying. Okay. And then 2 days later, then you're going to come back to the Cairo airport. Right. And it's going to be a domestic flight. So it's actually going to be pretty seamless for you. So you're just going to go through the airport and hop on your flight. And then once you land in Luxor, they're already included in your ticket for you all. On the 22nd, there will be an escort to get you to the hotel. Right. But it sounds like you don't need it. If you wanted to, you could add it if you wanted that extra layer of support when you come back 2 days later, to just kind of get through the airport. But it sounds like you don't need it. Okay. Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, you're very welcome. Sheila, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I do. Just a little bit of clarification. Are you sharing that when we land in Cairo, that we cannot transition to the next terminal to go to Luxor unless we leave the airport? Is that what you're saying? Or can I just land in Cairo and say I have 5 hours for my next flight? So I can be leisurely. So are you saying that I need to leave where I land and take transportation to another terminal to board a plane for Luxor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. I'm glad you're asking this question. So let me ask you this. Would you consider yourself an experienced traveler?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in that case, it's just kind of totally up to you and like personal preference, right? So you definitely have enough time where you're not needing to be expedited through the airport. But what will happen, no matter how much time you have in between, is the international terminal and the domestic terminal, they're not connected, right? It's not where it's like you just kind of take like a bridgeway or something like that to get from one terminal to the next. Oh, Demetrius, did you have something to say?
I was about to make a comparison. So for those of us who live in Atlanta, think about the Atlanta airport. You have the domestic terminal, and then an international terminal is like a 10-minute drive from the domestic terminal. So it's set up somewhat like that. You won't be able to walk it.
Exactly.
But does the airport take you? Does the airport take you like on a tram or something?
So that's exactly what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So because they're not connected, they have, just think of them as like taxi drivers, like independent contractor taxi drivers, right? Who are there, lined up outside of, wherever it is that you come out of, who will take you from the international terminal to the domestic terminal. They are looking to make money, right? So there's going to be some sort of fee. You're going to negotiate that with them because they're independent. So whatever they quote, you negotiate. If you agree on the price, then they'll get you there. So for someone who's an experienced traveler who has 5 hours, you might say, oh, that's fine. I'll just, negotiate with them and I'll make my way there. For someone else, you still might be an experienced traveler. You might not be an experienced traveler. And you might say, I just want everything easeful. I want to have somebody with me who is just going to get me from A to B and I don't have to worry about it. I'm not negotiating back and forth with people. Let's just get it done. Then the $13 fee might make sense in that case. So to answer your specific question, Sheila, do you have to pay the $13? No. But there will be some sort of fee that you'll be paying on the ground to get you from it's the same airport, but they're not connected. They're not linked. So you'll have to have someone take you from international to domestic, and then coming back, it's going to be the same, but reverse. So take you from the domestic terminal to the international terminal.
Okay, perfect. That's clear. And I will just go ahead and pay to stick with this particular program instead of rolling the dice at the airport.
Totally.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. This is actually a good time for me to pause. I am going to go into the itinerary and the wardrobe and those sorts of things in just a moment, but I know that I've covered a lot so far. So if you have a specific question about what I've already covered, that maybe I haven't answered, or you just want a little clarification on, go ahead and raise your hand if it hasn't been answered in the chat, and I can answer your questions. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go over the itinerary. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Okay, so Demetrius, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see this? Perfect. Okay, so I am on just tamborcruise.com, right? And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, all the way, you'll see what has been added is an overview itinerary. Okay, so you can use this as you're thinking about, as you're planning and preparing for what's coming up. I know as the time gets closer, we get excited. We're like, what are we going to do? We start packing. We're like, what's going to happen on this day and that day? So this is an overview itinerary so that you can see exactly where you're going to be staying, right? So you're going to be on day 1 at the resort in Luxor. And you can see what's going to happen morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay. And this, let me minimize this. So this, is a scroll, right? So you can just click this little button right here, this little arrow, and it'll add, day 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So you can see what's going to be happening every day. So just as a quick recap or overview, day 1, everyone's landing at the airport, or you're coming to meet us at the hotel. Energy is high. We're super excited. So we're going to kick off with a welcome from the Tambor team, the DJs. You're going to get your gift bag. You're going to check into the hotel. You can, shower, get settled, do whatever it is that you need to do to kind of, acclimate yourself. And, we'll have our meet and greet. After that, you'll come back. We'll have our dinner, right? And so you'll be able to see the Nile River while we're eating dinner. We're not yet on the boat yet. So this is still at the resort. And then we'll have our opening party, which will be outside. And so I believe it was Ricky, if I'm remembering correctly, who had like a friend in Egypt, for example, who, would want to come in and party with us. This party is open to the general public. So they can come meet us at the hotel, party with us, and then head back. Or what we would love, of course, is for them to be with us for the whole 8 days. But if that doesn't make sense, this is still a cool little way where they can, y'all can meet up and enjoy. Okay. So That's day 1. Day 2, we are going to have breakfast. We'll go over our theme for the day. Remember, we're going to have our daily themes with the intentions, which will also influence our wardrobes, which I'll go over in just a second. We'll check out of the hotel, and we'll have 2 excursions. We'll have an excursion at Karnak Temple, and we'll have an excursion at Luxor Temple. There'll be a little bit of time in between. And then it'll be, so we'll have so here's what's going to happen every day. You're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? You're going to have, daily announcements during breakfast every day. We're going to go over the theme with y'all every day. And, we're having parties every day too, right? So we're going to dance, we're going to play, we're going to have a good time. That's happening every day. So pretty much what changes is the excursions that happen. Okay. So day 3, we're going to go, excuse me, to the Valley of the Kings. So we'll have our excursion. In between that, we're having, lunch. We're going to have, party on the sun deck. We'll have another party in the evening. So that's what's happening there. Day 4, you kind of start to see the pattern, right? Like, we're still on the ship. We have our excursion at Edfu Temple and Kom Ombo Temple. We have our parties. We have our meal times. And then day 5, same thing, same kind of thing, except we have this is like where your optional excursions come in. So for example, the Felucca sailboat ride, or if you wanted to go to see the Aswan Botanical Garden, those are things that you could add on, right? So it's a loose day. You might say, listen, I've been partying for 4 or 5 days. I'm about to take me a nap. You might say, I've really connected with this person, and I just kind of want to, maybe we just meet up and, we're just kind of hanging out on the boat together. Or you might want to still do some exploring. So this is on day 5 is like the first part where you'll really start to just kind of curate your own agenda, so to speak. Day 6 is very similar, where you'll be able to we'll check out of the boat and check into the hotel, and then you'll also have some free time to utilize, again, however you want, right? So we'll be on that private island. So now we're at the hotel or the resort. And then day 7, this is where we'll have our full moon, our finale, Tambor party in the evening. But again, you've got free time throughout the day to use it how you wish. And then we'll take our group photo as well. Okay. And so again, there will be an opportunity for you to like have your picture professionally taken and purchase if you'd like. And then day 8, we'll have breakfast together, do some closing, and then folks will start checking out and making their way either towards the next leg of your trip, or back to the airport to head home. Okay. So you can find this general itinerary at tamborcruise.com all the way at the bottom. There will be a more detailed, even more detail with like time breakdowns and, all of that. That is also coming. That's going to come mid-September. Okay. And we're going to share that in the Facebook group. So what you can find on the website right now today is what I just showed you. The time breakdown is going to happen as we get closer and closer to the dates. Okay. But it does already have like where we're going, which excursions. So take a look at that. Let's see. Can Mo or Demetrius, can one of you just drop the link of the Facebook group for Stacy? I see y'all chatting, but so that she can just share that with her husband, so he can click that link and just request the Facebook group. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, so now we're gonna get we're going to go over the wardrobes just to refresh your memory. Again, all of this is going to be posted as we get closer to time. But if you're like me and you like to prepare in advance, and you want to start thinking about, what you might want to go out and buy, what you might already have in your closet or what have you, we want to share this with you. So go ahead and grab a pen and paper, or you can write this down in your phone. I'll give you all the themes, overarching themes now, and then you'll get the details next month in September. Okay. So you'll want to have a blue outfit. Again, with this is like first day. We're obviously going to be on the Nile. So you're thinking water, you are thinking, sky energy. You're thinking flow, so to speak, right? Thinking about life, perhaps even rebirth. That is the energy. So when you are designing your blue, whatever that means to you, whatever shade, whatever kind of gives you that particular feeling. Let's see. Okay. So then day 2, during the excursion, right? So like, this is when we're outside at the temples in the Egyptian heat, walking. So keep that in mind. The colors that you'll want to wear to that particular excursion are going to be red and white. However you want to mix that up, we recommend cottons, linens, light material, because it'll be hot, we'll be outside. But those are the colors that you'll need to wear for that particular excursion. Okay. And the energy, so to speak, that you'll want to have for the evening, right? For the night party is all things like tribal, maybe even like warrior. So like you might want to adorn like your face and your body with like, paint, or have a staff or specific cloth that like represents this like very tribal energy. Okay. Okay, so day 3, you're going to wear your shades of green. You can wear this all throughout the day and all your different outfits throughout the day. Or you can just wear this to the party. But the energy of the day is abundance. Okay. And again, we're going to go into the details of all of this, leading up to the experience. And then definitely like once we're there, we're going to tie all these things together. The temples that we go to, the excursions that we do, like all of this is going to like really come to life. So the energy, think abundance, right? So all shades of green, any shade of green, as well as turquoise, is a part of that as well. Okay. So that's that. Okay, so this is day 4 now. This is the eyewear, that I talked about last week. So again, this could be, you could wear something like it could be whether it's like face paint or jewels or whatever that, adorns your first eye or your third eye. It could be, glasses that you've decked out. It could be eye jewelry. It could be like face paint that you've put on your eye. Eye of Horus jewelry, like however you want to do it. The idea is like we're connecting with like what we see beyond what we can physically see with our eyes. And so we're going to have, a little play on that through our adornment. Okay. No specific color recommendation or anything like that. Just focusing on your eyes. Day 5. This is the day where you bring an outfit, whatever it is, like the most creative expression outfit that you have. but you have not bought anything. So it's like, how can you do it up? How can you be really, really creative, really expressive, but like nothing new, okay? Everything recycled, so to speak, okay? And day 6, TBD. I know we'll also be wearing like our t-shirts on that day. Day 7, this is the full moon party. So this is where we're coming with the crowns. We're wearing gold, silver, white, and black. Any combination of those 4 colors. Gold, silver, white, and black. And then you have your crowns, okay? So that's that. I know personally, I know Stan is very excited about these crowns, y'all. He is very excited about these crowns. So yes, and then day 8, it's a travel day, so you know, you do what you do. That is the itinerary. That is the wardrobe description. Again, this is an experience that is intended to have everything that you need when you land in Luxor. You know, the escorts are going to be there for you with, you know, at Luxor, the parties, the meals, the excursions, right? You can add on, but the majority of the excursions are included. You know, we have a resort that's along the Nile River that faces the Nile River, as well as the tombs of the nobles. The DJs, right? Shout out to the DJs on the lineup. Really, for the number of DJs that you know we have coming, even at like most festivals, I don't know that we would get this many DJs, especially for how prominent they are. So this is like very exciting. Our wellness activations in the morning, and once you get to Aswan at the airport, you'll have an escort there as well. So your ticket includes most things. Like if you didn't want to buy anything else, you could be really, really good. Again, the financing, right? If there are things that you want to add on, if there are, you know, if there's an additional balance or whatever, again, you can do the financing. The deadline is September 1st. So we've got like 3 or 4 days to apply for the financing. Okay. I want to pause, and answer any questions. No, Monique, the crowns won't be supplied. You'll bring your crown, like whatever that means for you, like whatever crown you like, you love, you know. And so it'll be really cool to see all the different variations, etc. Alexis, I don't know what the interest is for financing. I know, so reach out to Tony and she will be able to like walk you through that process in detail. When you go to apply and all of that, usually when you like apply for any type of financing, usually all like even the interest and all of that is usually based on your credit and a couple of other factors. So I'm guessing this will be the same or similar, but you can you and your friends, Alexis, can reach out to Tony and talk with Tony, and she'll answer your questions. But also, even when you apply, it's just a soft inquiry. It's not a hard inquiry on your credit. So even just to apply and see what you get, you know, is something that you can do. Okay, let's see. In terms of sites for crowns, so I am currently putting together a like a Pinterest like vision board, so to speak, for each of these different themes. What I can do, your question is noted. So what we can do is also include like a couple of links of like, hey, if you just want a place to start, you know, check out this link or that link. So thank you for that question, Alexis. Any other questions? And at this time, you can just come off of mute or drop it in the chat. It's totally up to you. I see some reunions happening in the chat. Cute. Okay, so the hot air balloon. Yeah, so you can go to the excursions link. Monique, when you have a chance, will you drop that in the chat for Alexis? You can go to the excursions link on the Tambor website and add in the hot air balloon. It's 45 minutes. It's $170. You have to book in advance. You cannot just decide when you get there. But yeah, it's going to be during the sunrise in the morning. And yeah. Any other questions? Yes, I know. Same. Every week that goes by, I'm like, oh, we're getting closer. 55 days. 55. That's less than 2 months. It's going to come and go so quick. Before we know it, we'll be on the boat. Okay, I don't believe that there are any other questions. So on that note, I just want to remind y'all, we do have 28 spots left. So if you have friends and folks who want to join, let them know. We do have the referral commission available to you all. We have the financing available to them. And, we'll continue to be in the Facebook group. So if you think of other questions, drop them in the group. We're going to be rolling out Alexis, I just see your comment. We're going to be rolling out our ambassador program pretty soon, and Mo is going to be heading that up. And so what that is, because there's hundreds of us, that are going. And so to give y'all like as much of a hands-on experience as possible, y'all will have an ambassador assigned to you with, you'll have about 30 to 40 people kind of like in your, let's call them pods, like in your group. And you'll have your one like point of contact. And that way it's just super easeful. They can answer your questions, your concerns, like if you need anything. And so we are going to be introducing the ambassadors to y'all before you go so that you know who your person is. You can start to cultivate that relationship with them. Like we said, you're going to be in like we'll have our big group, but you'll also have like your unique WhatsApp group for, with your ambassadors. So that's coming down the line, just to give you a heads up of who the ambassadors are. So of course, y'all know Jackie and Stan. I'm an ambassador. Davron, who was on the call, I think he's still on the call, is an ambassador. Demetrius, who's currently on the call, is an ambassador. Kemi Bennings is an ambassador. Christy Sweet, Mo, who's been in the chat with you all, Leia Love, who has been in the chat in like previous calls. I don't know if Leia's here today. I don't see her, as an ambassador. Jeray, Iana, I hope I've said that right. I believe that's Stan's sister, is an ambassador. Dawad, and Konzu. So we've got lots of ambassadors, lots of folks who will be supporting y'all. Okay, so that's coming up next week. There is no call. It's a holiday. Enjoy your holiday. Okay, so last question. I completed all the info on easel, but it still says check-in. Did you save it? Were you able to successfully save with all of the spots filled out? I see some of y'all heading out, so I want to thank y'all for coming, for being here, for asking your questions. I can't wait to meet you all in person. Dre, to be honest, I'm not sure. Are you saying that you're still seeing the button that says check in, or are you saying like you're getting a notification that's telling you to check in?
Yes, I'm still seeing the button that says check in. Is
that
normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Quick note, if anyone has someone they know who does want to sign up for the cruise, like Danielle said, there were 28 slots. We've had a few bookings since we've been on the call.
Wow.
So they are dwindling. So it would behoove them to expedite their sign up.
Thank you for that update. In just an hour's time, like we're dwindling. So just make that move. Reach out to Tony right now. Just hang up, send the email, reach out, because September 1 is the deadline. So no need to delay. Okay, make sure you do your registration, you do your check-in. The deadline is tomorrow. Don't wait till tomorrow. Just go do it right now when you hang up. That way you're good, your roommate is good, and then we'll see you all in Egypt. What about internet? So yeah, so with WhatsApp allows you to communicate via Wi-Fi instead of using like your phone plan. So while we're like on the boat and things like that, you'll have access to Wi-Fi. Exactly. So yeah, while we're out and about at the excursions, usually not. But that way you won't have to use your service and we can still communicate with each other. So yeah, good questions. Thank y'all. Bye.